We had a case against Toyota. It was a sexual harassment case, like man on man, and they ran us ragged. Like that was before OCR, you know, we had to like actually go through all the documents they dropped off.
You're doing the nursing home abuse cases now.
Yep.
One of the things that makes those cases a little difficult is that they play a shell game with who owns the nursing homes, who's the money behind it, private equity. How much of a fight is that for you?
California's great because of the Doe amendments. The problem with a lot of other states is they don't have that Doe amendment. And if you don't name everybody, you're screwed.
Welcome to this episode of Bourbon of Proof, where we interview those who've been both successful at law and life. And today we are honored to have Miss Dawn Smith, who literally just touched down from Dallas into Los Angeles, filming live downtown LA bike shed at Tom Hardy's private bar. We are honored to have you on the show, Dawn.
Thank you for having me. Just skidded right in.
And of course, we have our esteemed co-host, Mauro Fiore Jr.
Do you remember my name? Do you remember?
I mean, I wish I didn't. If I ever got to the point where I didn't remember who you were, I feel like I succeeded.
Thank you, Bob. I'm here as always, serving at your pleasure.
Serving at your pleasure.
Thank you for being here.
So Dawn's a true bourbon connoisseur. We talk a lot about this. She's watched a lot of shows. So Mara and I have a special treat for you because we have things that you have never had before.
Okay.
You
I'm
know how we
excited.
know that? Because we've never had it until last week. And we brought it back from Austria. We're going to
Nice.
take you through some Eastern European culture and experience. So Mara, why don't you start us off with your pour?
Okay. Well, this was it. What was the name? We were in a town. I think it was called Wolfgang.
Yeah? No, that wasn't Wolfgang. It was one before that, but yeah.
I can't remember the name of the town. Something. We were in Austria someplace, and surprisingly, Austria has a very big whiskey culture. A lot of distilleries, and I didn't know that. So this is from a distillery there in this town. I think it was called Stift Milk was the name of the town. The thing about the town is Bob is a history buff. They had the ruins of the prison up on the hill above the town where they imprisoned Richard the Lionheart, the Crusader.
Okay. Wait, there's a movie about,
Yes.
yes,
Yes,
right?
This is the town where they had him in prison, and they had the ruins of the prison up on the hill right below the town right below it. And so we got this there in that town, beautiful town.
Well, let's
and so
pour
this
it.
is a local organic whiskey that they make in that town. It's 86% alcohol, so it's got a little bite.
86 proof. No, but the thing so that
86
they
proof,
make
sorry.
things from like true herbs. I mean, they do stuff. It depends on the region where they grow and stuff. But so the historical meaning of this was during the Crusades, and they essentially ransomed them back to England. Austria needed money.
Cheers.
They
Cheers.
ransomed him back. He was only there for a few weeks, but he was in this prison.
That's really good.
It's good. Never had it before.
Really good whiskey.
That is good.
So the story was that King Lion, he wanted to avoid, when he came through from England to the Crusades, he stopped through Austria and he planted his flag there. It was a big FU, and they didn't like that very much. So he knew it was a big FU, so he tried to circumvent going back by taking the Mediterranean to go back up to England. And he had a shipwreck, and there's only one way to get back, and he had to try to go through the low foothills of the Alps rather than the high Alps, and they caught him.
Wow.
And they ransomed him back, and you know what happened?
Tell me.
What do you think happened whenever they caught King Lionheart? What was going on in England at the time? Early
Oh my
1200s.
gosh, I didn't know I needed to study.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not ready.
The plague?
The plague's always happening. The purge, the plague. So this is whenever King John, his brother, the story of Robin Hood,
Okay.
is taking place at that time because the people are pissed about paying taxes, having a weak leader, not being represented, stealing from the rich to give to the poor. The people said, we want to have a say in our life. They signed the Magna Carta while King Lionheart is off at the Crusades in jail where they made this whiskey. And that's when they gave the power back to the people. That's when they started having jury trials and things in open courtrooms, and that's how we formulate a lot of our closing arguments to empower our juries to give power back to them.
I love
Thank you
that.
for this whiskey, yeah.
I love that.
And I know you do a lot of jury trials.
I do. I don't do as many as I'd like right now. I was listening to you and you were talking about doing like 6 or 7 a year. Are you still doing 6 or 7 a year?
No, that
Okay.
was a gauntlet. Now
Yeah.
it's 1 or 2, but it was, our firm probably does 20 a year, but me personally, it's 6 or 7 was crazy.
Yeah. I mean, if I get 3 in a year, that's doing pretty good. And that's not enough. I would rather I'd like to do at least 6 or 7 a year. I think 1 every 2 months, short ones, not like 6-week trials.
But for yours, it's so you're traveling, because you do stuff nationwide.
Yeah.
But being away from home, you have to learn the law, the lay of the land, the jury culture.
I love that.
Wow.
I love that so much. So that's my favorite thing. I mean, we've done so many different practice areas, and we niche down into this one practice area, nursing home abuse and neglect. And I think that if we were just doing it in one state, I would be a little bit bored with it, honestly. I would. But having to adapt to different things in different states and areas and towns, and just going into a new town and getting to know it and getting to know those people and the nuances about the people in those towns, that's my favorite thing. I love it.
But how do you prepare for that?
So I usually go in a couple of times to do kind of pretrial stuff, at least. I've gone there for maybe a deposition or some sort of hearing just to kind of get a sense. I drive around, I read the local paper, I hang out at the courthouse a little bit if I can. I try to sit in the back of the courtroom and listen and watch the judge and how he or she makes rulings before I, do anything substantively. And then I just really try to watch and pay attention and listen. I try to listen to what's going on around me.
Do you ever get I always envisioned if I had that national trial practice is to get entwined with the community, I would just go to the local bar and just talk to people, have a few drinks. Do you ever do stuff like that?
100%.
I love it.
You know what? I was going to say my secret weapon on that is when I go to an out-of-town trial, I try to find a local poker game to sit in.
Oh, gosh.
And you can learn a lot about the people from the local poker game. So they have a casino with a poker room. You go sit in the poker room, talk to the people playing poker. That's like your normal dirtbag jurors or the guys playing poker. So you learn a lot about the community. A little gambling.
I shouldn't gamble. We just went to Vegas, my husband and I, a few weeks ago, and we almost got divorced. He told me he will never go back to Vegas with me again because I'm kind of an all-in kind of girl. I get bored. I'm definitely not. So I was trying to play craps, and I got way too much money out. And he's like, "What are you doing?" I'm just like, "We're just trying to have fun. It's okay. It's all right."
Paying for entertainment.
That's right.
That's what I consider.
Yeah.
If I
Is that
win,
what
I
you
win.
call it?
Yeah. Yes, entertainment.
You just have to have a budget, and I'm not really good with that. So he's really good at it. He can go sit at a blackjack table or a pie gow table and just play. He likes to sit there. I get bored.
Fun. Yeah, it's not.
Yeah, it's not any fun just to sit there and just win a little, lose a little, win a little.
I see this guy play the penny slots. He just sits there and pulls the lever.
No, you don't.
I can play slots all night. I love it.
What? So you don't like
Love it.
interaction with people?
No, I do. I like to play poker. I like to play blackjack, but I like to play slots too. I just like action. I like to gamble. I like action.
Okay.
Yeah, I've seen him in a casino, I think, in every country in Europe.
Yeah.
It's a very fun sight to see.
That's the great thing about Europe. Their casinos are everywhere.
Yeah.
They're everywhere.
I really like this. This is
That's
really good.
Yeah, but these are all different because it's not an American bourbon. These are all different, but in this next set we're going to see they actually mimicked an American bourbon with how they made the whiskey. But I think whenever you're in a cold winter place, you gotta find some way to stay warm.
Yeah. Was it cold when you guys were there?
Yeah, not too
really.
bad.
I mean, 35, 40. It was just last week, but no wind, no snow, so it was comfortable.
Yeah, we got higher with some snow. We still didn't matter. But I purposely do not carry a jacket anymore. I don't own a coat. I don't.
What is that all about?
I grew up in Pittsburgh and I had to wear buttoned up all the time, so I just wear a few layers. So I like to go to places where I can wear layers. He makes fun of me, but it's okay.
Get a jacket, man. He wears like a vest and like a flannel and stuff.
Yeah.
My
arms gotta
wear
move.
a jacket.
Yeah.
But you got to be able. If you're in a fight, you got to move your arms.
Don't get into a fight. We're too grown up to be in fights at this point,
But
right?
you fight in the courtroom all the time. Where are some places in the country that it's like, you, a woman coming in to try this case, it's got to be a different experience in some parts of the world,
Yeah.
the country.
It's crazy because I practiced in California first. That's where I got my license first. Graduated, started trying cases right out of law school.
Where'd you go to law school?
I went to Whittier.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
I
went to
love
Whittier.
being in Whittier.
and got a job at a great firm that let me start trying cases right away.
Were you on the plaintiff side or defense side?
Plaintiffs, always
Nice.
the plaintiffs.
Pure blood, pure blood.
That's right.
Pure blood.
Yeah, that's right.
Gold star.
I kind of got
Plaintiff
lucky.
only.
I was just there. Nobody was offering jobs, and I sent out a ton of law school or ton of applications, and I had a brand new baby, and we were struggling. I'm
So
like, I'll take anything.
So when was your first child born? When was it?
He was 6 months old when I took the bar.
Wow.
So he was born December 6th, right before I finished my last semester of law school.
So you're pregnant the entire last.
Yeah, I got
Year.
pregnant in well,
Wow.
kind of. I guess I got pregnant I know when I got pregnant, March 17th.
St.
It was
Patty's
St.
Day.
Patrick's Day.
Wow.
Sorry, honey. I'm talking too much about stuff, but yeah. So he was born December 6th. I took some of my finals before he was born, some of my finals after he was born, and then he was 6 months old when I took the bar. So I was just trying to find
Wow.
a job. So I just put out a bunch of applications, and the girl that I was studied for the bar with, her boyfriend was working for a plaintiff's firm in Orange County, the Cifarelli law firm. So
Oh, the Cifarelli. I know those.
Cifarelli, yeah. Tom and Phil Cifarelli.
So then if that was December, the bar results came out like 2 weeks before that then in California.
So the bar results came out
It's usually
the
end of
beginning or like
mid-November.
November. Yeah. Yeah.
And you're still, you're like pregnant at that point.
Yeah. Well, no. So I had him, and then I started working.
Oh, I thought he was December born. No.
December.
Yeah.
But right before I finished law school after he was born, and he was 6 months old. I took the bar, then passed the bar. Thank God.
Because Cifarelli's hiring a soon-to-be new lawyer, but they didn't know if you're going to pass the bar, who was 9+ months pregnant at the time.
So
That says something.
So you got to get this straight.
Yeah.
So he was 6 months old. So they hired me when he was like 7 months old. So I took the bar in July,
Yeah.
and he was 6 months old. And
In July.
In July.
Okay.
And then I got hired there in August. And I was just a law clerk. They didn't offer me an associate position or anything. They just hired me as a law clerk, and I just busted my ass. Just went in early, stayed late, and when I passed the bar, they offered me a job and gave me like so many great opportunities. I still talk to Tom and Phil today. I started working for their dad. They let me write an appeal, and tried cases.
Sounds like
right out.
after I took the bar, I went and got a job at this firm, and I was like literally like the file clerk or whatever, and I remember talking to the guy who hired me. It's like, hey, I graduated from law school and I took the bar. Do you think I could do something else besides like fucking filing or something? He's like, didn't you go to one of those unaccredited law schools? I said, yeah. He goes, you ain't gonna pass no fucking bar exam. You're gonna be doing this shit forever. I was like, are you sure about that? He's like, yeah, man, you don't pass shit. And then like a month later I passed. He's like, oh, wow. Can't believe you passed.
Is that the best feeling
Yeah.
ever?
I said, yeah, I fucking passed, man. And then I quit and got a job at a better fucking firm.
There you go. Yeah, my law school had a low pass rate too, and I was really scared.
Mine was 10%.
Oh,
Wow, that's
mine
pretty
was
low.
40. I wanted to go to
40's good, though.
Pepperdine.
Really? I know why.
I wanted to go to Pepperdine, but
Pepperdine was just, first plane ride I ever took was to go look for law schools, came out to Pepperdine, Malibu, and I was like, holy shit, like this, can't believe this exists on the planet.
yeah.
But I had a lot of good friends who went to Whittier. Do you know Spencer Hugert by chance? Yeah, around the same
I
time.
don't think so.
Around the same time.
I graduated in 2002.
Same.
Forever.
Well, I was 2005 from law school, but he was a year earlier, so you had a year crossover.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
good friend of mine, and he's big defense. He does like a lot of product liability up in San Francisco for Gordon Reese.
I know Gordon Reese
Yeah.
well. We had a case against Toyota when I worked for Tom and Phil. It was a sexual harassment case, like man-on-man sexual harassment case, and they ran us ragged. Like that was before OCR. You had to like actually go through all the documents they dropped off.
What's
like,
OCR?
Just
Adobe,
to scan something
scan
and
it.
word search it.
Seriously?
I don't really do that
You
kind
have
of work.
people. You have
I don't
people
do
for
that
that.
kind of work.
You used to at some point. didn't you?
I'm what's known as a administrator.
Good for you. Good for you. But yeah,
I did my time in
you
the
did?
trenches.
So then you should know what
25
OCR is.
years. I spent about 23 years actually practicing law, and now the last like 3 years I really don't practice
You
anymore.
tried 2 cases this year.
Yeah, I mean, but I come out of retirement here and there, but I like to more like run the office now.
Yeah.
I spent over 20 years in the trenches, so I don't feel bad about it at
So
fucking
when
all.
the OCR thing, so like I don't deal with paper like,
Yeah.
we scan everything OCR.
Scan everything. Same here.
We took a vacation with our family. We were there for a month in Spain. This guy took all of his mail in like a garbage bag.
No, I mean, I had a bunch. Listen.
Like on the plane.
Hard mail.
This was
No,
this
I-
was,
we
this,
went-
was
we were-
this year.
Yes, this was.
To this day,
Okay.
part of what I do at my office is that they get the mail, they scan it, and they put it in files and all whatever shit they do for all these young lawyers that work for me,
Yeah.
But then the actual mail,
Yeah.
they put it in a big box and they leave it in my office, and I actually look at the mail.
You do.
Yeah, I don't look at no files or no shit. I look at the mail. I've been practicing since the 90s.
mail.
I'm
This
old
guy- this
school.
guy's licking his thumb.
I look at the mail.
Looking at like I come downstairs, we put the kids to bed. We usually we have a couple glasses of whiskey, play some Uno late at night, and he's reading mail out of a trash bag. It's like, what are you doing?
It's like I brought a whole suitcase full of mail because I had to go through this mail. And boss was like, what are you doing? I said, I go through the fucking mail to this day.
That's really
To this
funny.
day, if I was at my office today, I would go get the big crate of mail that has been accumulating for the
So
last few
weird.
weeks, and I'd be looking at the mail. Because I know by looking at the
he likes
mail,
looking at mails.
You'll catch stuff.
everything going on in my office.
Yeah, you'll catch stuff.
I know what everybody's fucking around. This
Yeah.
guy's getting sanctioned. This guy missed a hearing.
Yep.
All the shit they don't tell me about.
That's right. That's
I know about all of it.
You know what's
I get
funny
it.
is you
I
can
get it.
also get that electronically to you with a little summary.
You know what I love to do when I get like an OSC notice from the court. Plaintiff counsel. Oh, no one appeared. I love to go in their office. Hey, what's going on? How you doing?
Did you miss a hearing?
Did you miss a hearing? Oh, my dog ate my fucking homework. I just hear this nonsense excuses. They don't bother to tell me they missed the hearing, but if I didn't go through the mail, I'd never know.
See, I kind of like that.
That's right. Still to this day, I go
So
through
Don,
it.
we do the next pour. So we went through the Danube Valley as
Okay.
we continued in our Austrian adventure, and we were in this town.
This is a tour of Austria.
Oh God, we're taking you through a whole thing. So we're in this little. And
I
there's,
really would have studied about Austria a little
no, we
bit
didn't
more.
want to. We want to surprise you. This is why this is so nice, because there's so much like history that presented itself there. So we're like along this great lake, and we're like looking around. We go inside this chocolate factory in this chocolate store.
Okay.
A young woman's running the store, and this guy's just grabbing shit and eating it.
Oh,
'cause
that's
it's
right.
free
I
samples.
remember I told him, I said, man, this is great. Yeah, I guess how they do it in Austria, because they had like samples of everything and you could just like help yourself.
Okay.
And I told Bob, shit, I've already eaten like 20 euros worth of shit in here. I was eating everything. I was like, I didn't buy anything. I said,
They don't
"No,
have any homeless people
I ate
around
20,
there."
I ate 20 bucks
Zero.
worth of chocolate, at least.
So
I
we
felt
go-
bad. I think I actually bought something because I felt bad. I ate so many samples.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
Chocolate
And then-
goes with whiskey?
Yeah,
It
well,
does.
yeah.
So this is the
Red wine?
pairing of this is we're talking to this young woman. We find out it's her store. Like she's the one that does the actual chocolatiering, if that's a word.
Yes, it is. It's
And it was wonderful stuff, well designed.
She's the
and
Madame Chocolat.
Madame Chocolat.
Yes.
So
is that a
she-
real
yes.
title?
Yeah. And then we find out, so further down the road, her mom has a store, which is this, Weiser, Wacau.
Yeah, like down the
Which
road,
is a
meaning
whiskey.
like 50 yards.
50
like
yards.
Right
If we
down
go
the
down there and it's like, oh, that's my daughter down there, and she has this other store. Her husband and son are the distillers at this whiskey. They do whiskey, gin, vodka, but we tasted every. And then we
How
took a
great
lot. We
was
took a lot
their
of
gin? We took a
amazing.
bottle of gin back to our hotel and we drank it that night.
Drank it all
was
that night.
amazing.
But this is, I mean, so the first one I'm gonna try. This is their single malt, and they did this in a whiskey. See how they spell that? Whiskey.
Oh, I love that.
They're Pinot Noir wine, so they age this a little in.
Pinot Noir is my favorite red wine.
Is that right? That's your problem.
It's easy drinking wine. It's easy drinking wine.
Maro's favorite red wine is.
Drink it
There's
all
too
the
many
time.
communists. You see that red wine?
That's my favorite wine.
Okay.
Too many Democrats.
Such an idiot this
Like,
time.
wait a second. Is there one? I need to get that. Is that a real wine?
It's a
No?
red wine. So you get it?
Okay. Cheers.
Cheers.
You're supposed to look at each other, when
We
you
are, yeah.
cheers. Do people tell you that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes
It's
people
important.
do this too, which is
That,
weird.
I think
Little
that's, I don't think we need to do that.
That's good.
It's good.
Yeah.
I like that one too. These are
And
so easy
so
I
drinking.
remember
Also
talking to the
drinking.
lady
Guys
in
are
that
not, like,
store
killing
because
me.
they had ciders, they had wine, they had gin, whiskey, and I was like, "Your husband makes all of this stuff?" She goes, "Yeah, just him and my son."
Yeah.
It's like, man, they're busy. She goes, "Oh yeah, they're busy." But They had a product line of like 30 different alcohols that they're making them all themselves. It's amazing.
Wow, how is that possible? How big was it? Did
They have
have big?
They have
Not
some
that
big.
big.
She said they had apricots, plums, grapes. You know, just a big fruit orchard, and they were making all kinds of ciders. Their ciders were great. I brought some of the ciders home.
I bet you did.
Apple vine. Have you had the apple vine from
I
Germany?
don't see. We go to Christmas markets. I don't like the mulled wine. I like my drinks cold and strong.
Yeah,
They're just like more hot and light.
just drinking.
I
them all day.
like the hot wine, the glue wine. I like it. It's good.
He also drinks rosé. So
Yeah.
So I love rosé too. Cheers to that.
Cheers to the rosé.
Yeah, rosé all day.
But the
right?
glue wine is the
you're supposed to drink after you cheers.
is the
That's rude.
German German
bad luck.
Bad luck.
German hot wine.
So how did you end up then in Dallas?
So my mom and dad got divorced when I was 2. This is the long story instead of the short version. But I moved in with my dad when I was 16, and he lived in Tulsa and then moved to Dallas. So I finished high school in Dallas, Fort Worth, just north of Dallas in Flower Mound. Then went to the University of North Texas in Denton, just north of Dallas.
North Texas, they're like white and blue. What's their
White and green.
white and green?
Yeah, white and green.
A friend of mine that has a song about Denton, Texas called the Valium Waltz.
The Valium Waltz.
Waltz.
Really?
Is this that same band that you
Yeah,
were telling me
that's right.
about?
The old 97s have this?
They have a song called it's called Denton Town.
So it's a big music town.
Yeah.
It's
Denton Town.
so they're like top 10 music school. So it's incredible the musicians that come out of that school. It's very, I don't know, I got a great education there. I loved it. So then I met my husband, actually
in Dallas?
in Dallas, well, in Louisville, so outskirts, at a bar. And
I met my wife at a bar.
see,
I met my wife at a bar.
See, the kids
But he
don't
was
know
actually
how to do it
pretending
now.
to be. So Morrow has all these aliases depending on where he is. So he's pretending to be Ari Hagigi. What was
No, my name was Reza Ajiji.
it? Reza Ajiji.
I pretended I was Persian when I met my wife. Because my wife's Mexican, and the best way to get a Latina is to make sure you're not Latina. Okay? So I told her my name was Reza Ajiji and I was Persian.
And it worked.
And she loved Persian. Of course, the Latinas love Persians.
Okay.
So I had to pretend I was Persian for a while. Finally, I had to tell her, "Fuck, I'm not Persian." After about 2 months, I finally cracked that I wasn't Persian.
You carried
And
it
she's
on
like,
for 2
"What?"
months.
She cried.
She cried.
She cried.
But you must have been doing something right
Yeah,
by
but
that
at that
time.
point, I had her hooked already.
Yeah.
So I figured, okay, I can tell her I'm not Persian. I'm half
What
Italian,
deceit.
half Italian, half Mexican. She's like, half Mexican. Oh, shit.
You played that one right.
But you know, they always say one thing for sure: if you ever hang out with a Mexican family, they got a son-in-law named Jeff.
Jeff.
Yeah,
Okay.
or Dan. You know,
Because what?
because
How does that
they
wrap
like
in-
white guys.
Okay, I was like,
You
wait,
know,
that doesn't wrap into the
women
Persian
like
thing.
white guys, or anybody who makes. They're not Jose, that's for sure.
Like Reza,
Man.
Dan.
So where are you on the Red River Shootout? You know, you're Oklahoma down to Dallas. Like, that's always a big sporting event for a lot of folks.
It is. It is. I actually worked. I was a bartender. It's a little known.
That's why you're so good with yours.
Maybe. I'm sure it taught me something. But the restaurant was always crazy busy. But I'm not really, certainly not an Oklahoma fan. I lived in Tulsa for a year, and I probably would have gone to OU or maybe
State.
maybe Oklahoma State. But I mean, UT is the school that everybody wants to go to if you graduate.
UT Austin.
Yeah, UT Austin.
Because they got
That's
like
the school.
UTSA, whatever, San
Right.
San
That doesn't.
Antonio.
No, that doesn't. If somebody
That
says
doesn't
UT,
count.
then no.
UT is Austin.
Yeah, UT is Austin. So, but yeah, I'm not affiliated really with either one. We have a good friend. My daughter's a swimmer, and she grew up with a girl that's swimming for UT. So we've got some good friends that went to UT, and they're big fans. So, you know, you align with your kids. You've got little
Exactly.
ones,
Got
right?
little ones,
Are yours grown up?
No,
or
I have
5
a
and
6-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 21-year-old.
Oh, perfect.
I got one
You're like
that's
my
around.
partner.
Yeah.
My partner has a 24-year-old and an 11-year-old. So, yeah. Good spread.
I have a 21-year-old looks just exactly like my wife.
Exactly, they're like
Looks
twins.
exactly like twins and has the same attitude. So I got 2 of them with the attitude.
That's good for you.
And then
It's
I
probably
have a
healthy.
6-year-old son and a 4-year-old daughter that are great.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're awesome. They're not like him. They're very nice.
They're like your wife?
Yeah, luckily they got my wife's genes. They're good-looking kids.
So the next one we're going to go through.
Oh my gosh, we're doing another
we're
one.
gonna-
Wait, I'm not
Dawn,
ready.
you
What's
can-
the
I
time?
think you could
Drink up.
drink. She's from
Drink up.
Texas. She's a bourbon girl. We could do this. These are no bourbons. I think they actually try to do one bourbon, which we'll get to.
This is
Okay.
the one American oak, American whiskey.
We'll do that one next.
We're
This
not
is
drinking all of these. We're drinking
we'll do all,
of
but they
these?
have the last one's a rum. We won't touch the rum.
Okay.
It'll
So
be fine.
I do have a ride back to the airport. So
Yeah,
it's fine.
you're not driving.
Yeah, no, I'm not driving.
So this one's another whiskey. Again, it's spelled whiskey.
Whiskey.
Whiskey. This is a smoke on the water. They named this smoke on the water, so I would assume it's a smoky one. I think these are all about 40-45%. So let's try the smoke on the water.
And you know the nice thing about us sourcing these drinks on vacation is that we were there researching the show.
Yes,
and-
Uncle
it's all
Sam, if you're
tax-
listening.
It's
Sam,
all
if you're
tax
listening,
deductible,
I
right?
was in Austria.
Write-off.
I was in Austria sourcing drinks for the show, and my trip is a write-off.
I was just thinking about that. I think you guys are genius because you have created something to facilitate your whiskey drinking.
Yeah, it's like I have a friend of mine. I won't name her, but she's big into fashion, loves fashion, and so she started this bullshit Instagram, like fashion review Instagram, and she buys clothes and goes to France for Fashion Week and all this shit, and writes it all off because it's her business.
It's brilliant.
And she
You
gets
should,
away
yeah.
with it. It's fucking
brilliant.
You gotta
smart.
do it.
Cheers.
All right, cheers.
Got a cheers?
It's good.
Cheers.
Fire on the sky.
This is Fire on the Water.
Fire on the water. Yep.
Smoke on the water? Fire on the
Smoke
water?
on the water. Don knows.
Quiz.
Very tasty. It is smoky.
Smoky.
A little bit like an Islay, they call it, right?
Yeah.
The Scottish
Are you a
Islay.
Scotch girl?
So I like scotch.
You do? God,
It's
I
a
don't.
Scottish
Yeah.
Islay or a
Yeah.
Scottish Highlands smoky vibe.
Yeah.
Like a Lagavulin.
Like Aberlour. Have you had
Or,
Aberlour?
So they,
or
um,
Lagavulin vibe.
I haven't
So
had
Charles Liu was the first guest on the show who owns this bar with Tom Hardy, where we're at a lot of restaurants.
Yeah.
He's a Macallan rep. They're actually creating a Macallan house. Have you heard about this, Mauro?
They had one they used to have one at the Montage in Beverly Hills, the McAllen House.
So it's a members only. So it's like
They had one at the
all
in
Macallan
Beverly
members
Hills.
only stuff, but it's the rare. One of the episodes we shot, we had some stuff that I've never even seen before. I'm not a Macallan guy.
Me neither.
We can look back there and just steal some of their stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I know a lot of people who love McAllen. I've been to the McAllen House, the one they used to have one in Beverly Hills at the Montage Hotel. And,
You're so fancy.
It was pretty cool.
It is
Yeah,
fancy.
I am a, Beverly Hills type.
It's very fancy. Hollywood.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's a Hollywood guy.
Yep.
So I mean, you're doing the nursing home abuse cases now.
Yep.
One of the things that makes those cases a little difficult is that they play a shell game with who owns the nursing homes, who's the money behind it, private equity. And you got to peel back a lot of layers. Like,
Yes.
how much of a fight is that for you? And is it harder in like Mississippi or places where they're trying to protect these corporations?
100%.
Because I want.
So
For me, this is
California's
interesting.
great. California's
I can
great.
imagine California's great.
California's great because of the Doe amendments, right? So, you put all the allegations in there, kind of gets everybody that could potentially be liable, and you just Doe them in when you discover them. The problem with a lot of other states is they don't have that Doe amendment. And if you don't name everybody, you're screwed. You're totally screwed. So,
Yeah,
like
it's weird.
you,
I practice in Washington State, and
Yeah.
that's how it is in Washington State.
Yeah.
There's no dose.
I mean, it's so.
Very
But how would
if
you
you
even
miss
know?
somebody, so
You get like 10 days after you've find them out. In Washington, you get like, I think it's 20 days.
you get nothing in Texas.
You get 20 days
Nothing.
to
But how
file
do you
them.
know?
You don't
Because they
know.
play such a.
They don't care.
That's why you have to find a specialist like Dawn, because if you sue a nursing home, it's usually owned by like these conglomerate, and you have to
Yeah,
you
I
have
mean,
to know right
I
away.
had a case recently. Well, it was not recently, but 3-4 years ago. I did a binding arb on a nursing home case. I got $1 million, which was
Good for you.
policy. It was called Windsor Health.
Yeah.
Real motherfuckers, Windsor. So
Is
they
it Brian Windsor?
no, it's just a big, big company,
We have
Windsor.
yeah.
So they opted for the periodic payments, which is under
Oh God.
MedMal.
That's another way that they
Yeah.
screw this whole
So
population.
They did periodic payments because they were hoping my client's going to die, and they're paying my client like $6,000 a month instead of paying it all at once. And of course, after like a year, then they filed bankruptcy, Windsor.
What?
So
That's what they do?
They filed bankruptcy, and then it's weird because I did some. The only other thing I ever did besides personal injury was I did a little bankruptcy at the very beginning of my career.
Well, he was practicing for his future.
Yeah. Yeah. Running from judgments, you know? So I did a little bankruptcy, but I didn't know how, like, these sophisticated bankruptcy firms. So the Windsor filed a lawsuit, I filed a claim in the bankruptcy. And I started getting calls from me, like, these sophisticated bankruptcy lawyers. Hey, what's up? I see you have this
Claim.
unsecured claim.
Unsecured claim.
You know, we could help you with it. We know Windsor's got billions of dollars. They're full of shit. They're playing a shell game, just like you're saying. They got all these corporation names,
right.
and they're trying to shove it all off. Meanwhile, the guy who owns Windsor's a billionaire, because I know a friend of mine who knows him. He lives in Malibu, like some $100 million beachfront estate. The guy who owns Windsor.
So that's a great trial
Meanwhile,
exhibit
he's
right there.
filing bankruptcy,
Yeah.
trying to screw everyone that he owes money.
But do you find different avenues to file defendant's home court? Because I heard stories that a lot of these folks that are the billionaires that own, they live in Malibus of the world. Can you file in California and then figure it out?
So they've made it really complicated to be able to do that because you've got to show control, right? And then got to worry about the whole diversity thing. And we stay where, where the injuries happen. There's no real. What we do is litigate these cases at a higher volume. A lot of firms don't do them at a higher volume. So we really have to pick and choose those cases that we're going to do something like that, like really think out of the box to try to make something, to take down, like Kim Valentine,
I love
Jody
Kim
Moore,
Valentine,
they take down these giants, right, and pave the way. They've paved the way for all of us because of the amazing work that they do.
Do you know Kim?
Yeah, she's from, like, Pomona. She's out there from that
Orange
area.
County. When she married Rob Gibson, a good friend of ours, finally after many years, like,
She's great.
she's great.
Yeah, no, she's great.
Yeah, she's friends with Judge Minto, I remember.
Yes.
Yeah, she's Minto's
Yeah,
friend.
but I mean, they really have kind of paved the way. They've had some amazing verdicts. They really took life care out by getting tons of sanctions against them, by, just going after them with motions to compel after motions to compel, and they just weren't. The defense lawyers were just blowing it off, and they got some incredible sanctions against them. So I think for us, what we try to do is we try to take. There's so many cases that are bona fide good cases that other lawyers turn down because they're not the perfect family or the most horrific injuries,
But do you feel like it's an epidemic, like we had the opioid epidemic, and now we have people going to elder care facilities and it's so
Absolutely.
expensive right now.
Yeah, $10,000, and they can't
Oh.
even turn and reposition somebody. It's $10,000 a month,
Yeah.
between $7,000 and $10,000 a month. It's
And that's
insane.
not even we're in California. I was looking at this for some other reasons, and it was so expensive.
Mm-hmm.
And we were trying to research like who's actually staffing these places, and it's such a high turnover rate, and who's taking care of mom or grandma.
Right.
And it sucks.
Yeah.
And now their privatization of healthcare through this, and it sucks.
Yeah, it's really hard. It's really hard, but that's the whole thing. I mean, the reason that Curtis and I, my partner, we met, when I was still an undergrad. So he had just graduated from law school, and I've known him for almost as long as I've known my husband. We just sat down one day, and it's really important to us to kind of figure out how to make a difference, how to make an impact with what we're doing. And this is an underserved community. People that have these injuries that aren't necessarily catastrophic injuries are still injuries that should be.
The most suffering injuries, like
Yes.
even like bed sores,
They're
are
so bad.
so bad.
These photos that we have are just horrific. So we've got to figure out how to do it at a volume, right, to where we're providing that type of service that
And
we
keep a quality.
Exactly. We have
But
to
you
have
guys do
quality.
stuff all over, and this is what fascinates me because you're in 20
states.
20 states. How to have that quality control over 20? Because my firm's in 3 states, and it's hard to keep that. You're in 2.
Two and
you're
then
about to
soon
be
to be
Arizona.
3.
You're in Texas,
Arizona.
We're
right?
in Texas, Arizona, and California.
I'm licensed in California, Washington State, and then we're opening up in Arizona in January.
Okay, cool. That's good. Yeah.
But I mean, how do you maintain that?
So what we've tried to do, it's been a growing process for sure. We have really tried to put together processes so we're streamlining it to where if you're doing one practice area and it's so regulated by the federal government, there's so many rules and regulations that apply regardless of what state you're in. So you need the same things basically in every state. You need the same specific documents in every state. It's not like, it really is more of a mass tort from
You're
from our
focusing on this
perspective.
one thing.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
so you have a COO at your firm, right?
Yeah.
You have a COO, and I met her in Atlanta at your firm.
Charlie, yeah.
And I think a lot of
Mine
firms,
was Sarah Tamas. Shout out
awesome.
to Sarah Tamas.
But like a lot of firms that realize how the value of having someone that's not practicing all the time to do those things.
Yeah. Oh, well, and Curtis, the way we have it structured is Curtis is our COO. CEO.
CEO, yeah.
He's our CEO, and so he runs the business. He does kind of the day-to-day, and structurally, he makes sure that everything.
Kurt's lawyer.
Uh-huh.
And that's,
Yeah.
I think for law firms, a CEO probably should be a lawyer to figure out because they practice, they know it. But the operator is somebody that should, well, it doesn't matter, but a non-lawyer that understands all those things.
Right. So, I mean, I would say that Curtis is really kind of the genius behind the practice.
The visionary.
Uh-huh. I mean, we both, I don't know if you guys do personality tests.
Oh, so you're the killer.
No.
You're
I
the
mean,
killer. You're the sniper.
try to be.
Let's drop her in Mississippi
I
for
try to
2
be.
weeks and kill.
I try. I mean,
love it.
I try to. But he and I are very similar in our personality tests, which we didn't even know. So we're both visionaries, but we've tried to segregate to where I'm handling the trial part, the litigation part, and he's handling the business part.
I took one of those personality tests one time.
They're great.
And they called the cops.
No, it said I had self-indulgent.
Minority Report,
It
that's
said
how it
I
started.
had self-indulgent hedonistic syndrome. I thought, well, shit. I was like, shit. I didn't
Never heard
have
of
to
that
take
before.
a test for that. I could have told you I had that
They
shit.
invented that for you. Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Self-indulgent hedonistic personality syndrome. It's like, well, fuck, yeah.
I'm gonna look that up.
Okay.
Somebody look that up real quick.
Yes.
See if that's a real thing.
I do have it, 100%.
Can you pour the next one, Morrow, you hedonistic bastard?
Ask me hard
It's like,
questions
I
now
told
before
I
you
told the
pour
lady who
God.
told me the results. I said I have to take a test to tell you that, lady. This is a single malt whiskey, American oak. So this is
It's really trying, yeah.
Their take on an American whiskey.
Okay.
These Austrians,
So this could never be an actual bourbon because it's not going to be.
these fucking.
It's not going to fit the
Austrians.
criteria of a bourbon. So like
Bourbon has to be made in America.
Has to be made in
Yes.
America.
But they're doing this in an American oak. So this will probably be the closest we can get to. Or I hope. We've not tried this one yet. So
We're doing a tour of Austria, not to be confused with a tour of Italy. Have you ever been to Olive Garden? Had the tour of Italy?
I have not.
Oh, it's the best.
I have not.
It's
I'm gonna go today before I
go to Olive Garden, get the tour of Italy. It's
Okay.
a gigantic plate. You get fettuccine Alfredo, you get cannellonis, which I like, and also you get the a little bit of the steak that San Genovese steak, you know, like the ribeye.
All right.
It's called the tour of Italy at Olive Garden. You got to get it. It's
Okay.
the best.
Yeah.
I feel like
Yeah, I'm
I
on
don't
it.
think you have to.
You have to get
Clearly
it, and extra breadsticks and salad with none of those fucking onions.
This is why he's here. Comic relief.
He knows all of these silly things.
Now, you know, this does taste like American whiskey.
This is good.
It is a I'm telling you, these guys, whoever this husband and son are at this distillery in Austria, they know what they're doing. This
And-
tastes
and
like
the,
American whiskey.
Who ran the whiskey shop? The mom, the wife. She looked just like Helen Hunt. My wife and I were like, I felt like we were talking to Helen Hunt, but she had a strong German accent. Maybe that's where
She
hid.
kept looking at me because I was eating all the samples. I started getting the stink eye from her. I was
with
like, okay,
Trump coming in.
I'll stay away from the chocolate.
With Trump coming in, let's move to Austria.
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah, that'd
Yeah,
be a
let's
great
just
place
move.
to go.
Let's move.
We travel a lot, and the first thing one of our guides says is, we're like, I always ask, like, I like to understand what's going on. I was like, so what's the crime situation? He's like, we have virtually no crime because we have these high wages for everybody, and nobody has a reason to steal.
Yeah, the guy told me, he said, yeah, he's like, if you worked at like the supermarket at Aldi and you were the cashier, you make like $5,000 a month.
Okay.
And I was like, well, shit. And they get free health insurance and free education and free everything else. It's like, no wonder no one's out robbing.
Yeah, let's do that.
You know? I mean, you're a cashier, make $5,000 a month and get everything free.
Your taxes are probably like, what, 70% or something?
Oh,
like
well,
that.
it's-
No, there.
You know, that's
Right?
what I always say.
Aren't they like 50
people
to-
Americans like to say, oh, well, the taxes are high. How much fucking higher can they get here? I pay 50-something%.
You shouldn't be paying 50-something%.
I don't, but I theoretically could be.
Something's wrong.
I
That's another
theoretically
thing.
could be, but I do have a tremendous tax strategist named Sterling Rivier. Shout out to Sterling Financial
There's
Architects.
no way that's a real name.
His name is Sterling Rivier, Financial Architects in Pasadena. If you don't want to pay no taxes, you look up Sterling.
We need to move. We need to move to Puerto Rico.
Is he also? We have a lot
Puerto
of
Rico. Let's move to Puerto Rico.
we have a lot of friends in Puerto Rico.
Yes.
Yeah.
You guys should shoot your podcast in Puerto Rico.
Actually, we could.
Sterling is a tremendous individual. Tremendous.
Let's get back. Let's get back to
Let's
Sterling.
get back to Sterling. He's amazing.
Okay. I'm going to consult with Sterling.
Not.
You should.
I'm
You
not.
should. He's the best.
Not if you're paying 50%.
I ain't paying.
I'm just
Did you
saying.
see that look?
I'm just saying.
We just
I'm
wrote
paying-
off his trip to Austria.
I am paying 50th of a percentage.
Careful. Careful.
I can't wait for
It's
the
all
audit.
recorded.
They're gonna look. Yeah, they're gonna be like.
As
this guy's
what's her
talking
name said, God, it's been a long time. What the hell's her name? Leona Helmsley. Only little people pay taxes.
shit. Wait, what? It's been a long. Why would I know that?
You know who Leona
I
Helmsley
do, but
was?
why would I know that? You were like channeling my mind. We've never talked about this before.
Leona Helmsley.
When we were in Austria,
Leona Helmsley was like a rich,
Yes, we know
super
she is.
rich socialite in New York,
Yes.
billionaire,
Right.
heiress.
Yes.
And and her famous thing was only the little people pay taxes.
Yes. Right.
That's true.
I know. It's true. It's true for Trump. Back to Trump.
You mean the prince? Prince Trump?
Yes. Prince Trump.
but
Exactly.
I mean, but you're practicing so many
I
different
appreciate
states.
you trying to get back
I know,
to me.
I know. No, but
do.
I want to.
Back to me.
And I'm going to tie this into here. Do you do a lot of federal stuff with these?
No, so we
all state.
started doing. So there's a great case that has allowed us to start filing cases in Indiana to get out of the medical malpractice pre-screening panel stuff.
So this is where I want to
So
talk to you about because
that's great.
and when you are in nursing home abuse, the other side wants to pull you into medical malpractice
Yep,
realm. Because
that's
if
right.
you're a medical malpractice, it usually has limits on damages, limits on liability, and a lot of different
all
stuff.
kinds of hoops.
So how, when you're in like Indiana, Mississippi, Missouri, these other jurisdictions that aren't as California actually is not so good because we have caps on med mal.
That's
so we
right.
can get out of there. Washington does not. New Mexico does not.
Texas does.
Texas is
Terrible.
terrible.
Indiana's the worst, really, because you got to go through the panel review process if you have a medical malpractice case, which is like purgatory for a case. It's where cases go to die. You have, it takes forever to get through it.
Panel review for PI in Hawaii.
It's
You know,
crazy.
Hawaii has that same thing.
That's terrible. I did not know that, but yeah. So there
Who's on
is.
this panel?
So yeah, they appoint.
Insurance company shills.
They appoint doctors. They appoint doctors to review the case to determine whether or not there was breach, causation, and damages. And they
In Hawaii,
have to
same
look
thing.
at
They
it
have
first.
to look at the panel, has to look at it and say, this case isn't worth filing or it is worth filing.
Yeah.
But how does who are vetting these people? Who are these people?
It doesn't matter. Don't file your case in Indiana. If you have an
Or
elder
don't
abuse
file a
case,
PI case in Hawaii.
don't file any medical malpractice cases in in
crazy.
Indiana. Don't do it. But so there's a really great case that went all the way up to the Supreme Court called Talevsky. And it ruled basically that if you're violating a senior's rights in a nursing home, you can file it in federal court. And if you file it in federal court under our amendments that protect seniors based on the rules that the government has basically crafted, so it's the Nursing Home Reform Act.
So
And if you file under those cases, you can be in federal court and you are not subject to limits on liability, you're not subject
Really?
to, you're not subject
But-
to any of the panel review process.
But do you pick and choose the state you're going to file on because of that? So if you're in
When we
Indiana,
initially-
you want to go to federal. California,
Exactly.
you could say state.
Yes. So initially when we were trying to decide what states to go into, we were looking at, how many nursing homes there are in the state per capita, looking at the laws, looking at the caps, trying to strategize. That's what I really love about it, is being able to strategize what's the best way to get justice for
What a
these
shame
folks.
it is. We have to figure out that question for can we get our client justice? Because you have so many folks in states and jurisdictions that cannot find it because of the laws that they're subject to.
That's right. That's right.
And going back to the fucking Magna Carta of 1215.
Comes around full circle.
Mauro, can you pour the next one? Because
Well,
I'm still.
you know
I'm
what?
so
I think,
thirsty.
Bob, do you think there's still 3 left in here? Should we kind of go outside the box and go with the Austrian rum in American oak barrels?
I feel like if you go rum right now, rum's a little more. It's a different animal.
So wait,
We
so
could
let me
do
just
rum.
say,
We could
so
do
I
rum.
love I love rum.
Then let's do rum.
There's
Let's do
still
rum.
two
I love-
whiskeys left in this, but there is an American oak aged rum.
So,
I would love to do rum. I do like rum.
This
The
rum's
problem is
Puerto Rican usually.
So-
you
rum.
know?
Rum makes you a little crazy.
And yesterday,
leaving. It's-
yesterday I had a Puerto Rican comment on the show, and it's probably getting cut out. So I won't come up. I won't.
You
continue
talked
with-
Puerto Rico
with-
already.
I won't talk
What was the
about
Puerto Rican comment?
I can't remember. It was bad.
oh my goodness,
It was bad.
it's off the rails.
Oh yeah.
I need another ice cube.
We're going. We're going.
Get another ice cube,
We're going
please.
rum.
Yeah, yeah. So everybody knows that the
This rum has a tremendous
so
nose.
whiskey's sister is a lot of rum. I know a lot of people that make their own whiskey does age. You didn't even cheers. You can't drink it yet.
I spit it. Yeah, I didn't drink.
Mark, you tell us what we're drinking here. You pulled a rum out, so let's go.
We're drinking an Austrian rum called Alter rum, and aged in American oak. It's the Austrian take on Puerto Rican rum.
Okay.
From
Cheers
the
to
mountains
that.
of Austria.
Cheers. The mountains of Austria.
It's really good.
Rum's always good.
Strange tasting rum. I've
It
never
is
had a rum
strange.
taste
It's
like
like
that.
I don't love this.
it's
Actually.
like smoky kind of.
Yeah,
Smoky,
because
like a
the
smoky
American
rum.
oak, right?
that
Because
what it
rum is
is?
usually sweeter. You know, this is not sweet rum at all. It's more of
More
a
like scotchy.
Ugh.
Yeah.
When I was in
Yeah.
college, I drank a whole bottle of the Malibu rum.
Oh God.
Drove 16 hours to Mardi Gras with my friend.
Oh, why did you
We're
do
Mardi Gras.
a lot of.
I was
That's
gonna
the
say
one that.
Mardi
That's the
Gras,
one
wait a
that.
second.
That's the one that smelled like the Hawaiian Tropic suntan lotion.
Yes.
Yes. it does.
Yeah, and it was not good. We took 4-hour turns. A 1984 Honda Prelude. I was a 5-speed. We just drove. My buddy and I drove this. We took turns sleeping, and I cannot believe we made it.
We're past the statute, so we're good. on
Oh,
that.
God.
Yeah. No, you made it.
Was that spring break or something you went for?
No, it was Mardi Gras. Is always
Oh, Mardi Gras.
always the same time. I took my dad's UPS vest. My dad drove for UPS, and they had those vests. And I stole it from him, and I only wore a UPS vest and jeans for the entire Mardi Gras. We were only there for like a day and a half, and then we just drove back.
When
Sounds
I
like
was
a good
like
time.
18, 17, 18, we used to go, back in the day, because you grew up in SoCal, the big party for spring break was in Palm Springs. Palm Springs had a wild spring break, and that was when Sonny Bono, the singer, was the mayor of Palm Springs in those days.
What?
Yeah.
And we used to go to Palm Springs for spring break. It was crazy. Girls would be wearing G-strings. It was wild. It was
And you
nuts.
are also probably wearing.
Is that where you met your wife, or no?
No. This was in the fucking 90s. And then Sonny Bono shut down the whole spring break party when he became mayor. He said, no more of this bullshit in Palm Springs, and he shut it down. And then he hit a tree and died.
He did.
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
skiing, he hit a
skiing
tree
and
and
hit a
died.
tree and died. Yeah,
Oh.
that's right. That's why my bless you.
About-
Rum makes him
Excuse me.
sneeze.
Bless you.
He's Rumpa Sneezes skin over here.
So I'm going to start a distillery
Oh God, I love
in
this.
San Saba, Texas. And it's going to be a whiskey distillery, and the whiskey is going to be aged in pecan barrels. Do you guys know about San Saba, Texas?
That's
do
out
not,
in,
but I love pecans.
In Texas Hill Country.
Yes. So it's right on
How
the
do you know
edge of
these stuff?
it's on the edge of Texas.
Plus,
Hill
I had a
Country.
friend who lived in Wimberley. You know, I hung in that area, right? You know Wimberley?
I don't know Wimberley.
Wimberley, by where Lukenbach is.
Lukenbach is very
been
close to
Lukenbach?
Lukenbach.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, I've
A
been out
song
there.
about that. Yep.
I've been to Lukenbach, Texas.
Yeah.
Got fucked up in Lukenbach. That's why I'm on the show, Bob. I've been everywhere. I've seen it all.
I cannot actually believe that you are actually been in Lukenbach.
Yeah, it's fucking great.
So
I want to hear about the pecan.
So when we were there, we had a trial, and it was it's a great little town, San Saba, Texas, and it's the pecan capital of the world, apparently. And it's north of Austin. It's probably about 3 hours from Dallas, about 2 hours from Austin, and 2 hours of San Antonio.
Yeah.
So it's like
Hill
right
country.
there.
They call it Hill Country.
It's right on the edge of the hill country. And so pecan capital of the world, little town, seems like a great place to start a distillery. You guys in?
Yeah.
I would
They have a
love to.
famous concert hall out there called Green Hall.
Green
Green Hall.
Hall. Yeah.
What? You didn't
Green,
even read
Texas.
the show notes, and you just probably just.
I've been to that. I've been there.
It's a cool place.
I saw the old 97s record a live album there. Old 97s live at Green Hall.
Yeah, that's
in like
great.
99.
That's a great place.
No, I'm just baffled by this guy's knowledge of the tri-corridor between Austin, Dallas, and San Antonio.
Yeah.
It's a concert hall that he knows.
Yeah,
It's good.
It's
Green
really
Hall's
cool.
famous. Hot as
I've been
fuck in there.
it's not.
Actually, that's probably where they make good whiskey if you do it, because the temperature goes so high and low.
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't worked out all the details, but I think that we can get in there, get a place, reasonable amount, start making
You just
whiskey
got to be
there.
able to get buy some older barrels that are aged, and then bring them into Texas and
Call
finish
it
it off.
Justice Law whiskey. What do you think?
Ooh, just us.
Just
Whoa.
us. There's all kinds of plays that we can do on it. I've thought about it.
Our dream is to have just a whiskey line that we serve at our beachfront hotel, and Mara and I just entertain people at the bar
In Spain.
in Spain.
Yeah.
We should buy that hotel that was
That was
the
nice.
one in Stegis. We were in Spain this summer, and there was like an old abandoned hotel right on the beach. We'd walk by it every day.
It was abandoned.
Abandoned hotel in Spain, right on the beach, right outside of Barcelona. We should buy that hotel, Bob. Make it our own. That'd be the best.
Yeah, but they have these things called higher regulations in Europe, and we can't put all this shit in our booze. So whatever. They don't like high proof stuff over there.
No,
It's hard to find.
I'm surprised by that.
No, we traveled a lot just to find an alcohol over 50%. They try to give us little pours too where
Yeah.
we go.
So we have a plan.
We have a plan.
We have a
We're
plan.
working on it.
So we have a couple more over there, but that's not. We went to rum, and I feel like you can't
It's hard to go back.
go back.
It's hard to rebound.
Yeah.
I mean, we can try. This was not my favorite.
No, I don't.
Well, Don,
this is
so
not
let
good.
me ask you, you've been practicing now, what, like 20 years or something?
22.
So what do you see yourself like in the next 22 years? What's your role? What are you going to do?
I want to have a distillery in San Saba, Texas.
Okay.
I love it.
Just practice remotely. No, we're trying to grow this practice to where we can really make an impact on the industry, I think, as a whole. Like I said, I don't know any other law firm that's really doing it exactly the way we are. It's a risk. You know, we have 22 lawyers now and
But one
40
practice area, you
staff,
guys crush it. One specific-
practice area. So I'm really excited to see what it can be. I really want to make it something that somebody can take over and just run with it, because the government there's no government checks on these entities.
Oh, it's terrible.
Yeah, I mean, they pay the employees like $10 an hour. And it's like slave labor.
The employees don't get paid enough. They're always short-staffed. I think the employees probably go into it for a really good reason. But I mean, if you were taking care of 20 people, what can you do? So that's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that Curtis and I can kind of leave a legacy in this industry that has made an impact to where facilities are actually making changes, because I really believe that lawsuits are the only way to make a real
Cheers to
impact.
that. Pour the last whiskey, because I want to do a cheers to the only way we actually change the way that Americans
All right, so there's two left.
is in the courtroom.
There's a
That's
French
not
oak,
legislative.
No, not
which
in
I think would
legislative.
probably be a little stronger, a French oak whiskey, and a sherry wood, which is probably a little sweeter.
Oh, I like this. Let Don pick.
I'll
French
do the
oak or
sherry.
sherry wood?
I'm sherry.
Thank you.
Sherry? Okay.
I'll pick the sherry.
You pick the other one.
Wait.
No, this is
We're
sherry wood.
mixing.
There we go.
We need like a little spittoon or something like that.
An elixir. This is an elixir. I need a
smells way
doctor to
better.
prescribe an elixir that will make everything better, except my
I
late
think
wife.
doctor's
going
going to prescribe you a lot more than elixir for you to
Cheers.
survive. Well, we're ending our journey in Bourbon of Proof with Don Smith. Let's try this sherry elixir. So much better than the rum.
This is really good.
So much
This
better
is
than
good.
rum.
This is really good. I like this.
This might be my favorite one.
I will say I was only prepared for 3 shots, and I think we've had like 6.
You'll be all right. You'll survive.
My wife's always, how many drinks did you have? I always say 2.
Standard
And then
answer.
if she doesn't say anything, I say many, too many.
A couple.
So Don,
Bob
like,
likes to get my wife drunk, but he knows when my wife gets drunk, then she attacks me.
Oh.
So he fucks me up every time.
this is true.
Yeah.
We
I was
drink a
telling
lot
Bob,
together.
don't tell her to drink anymore. I might not survive the fucking night.
I think there has to be rules between friends when it comes to
Yeah.
spouses.
Don't be egging her on and
No,
drink anymore.
you cannot egg on
No,
the
but
spouse.
it's very funny to see Morrow in this. You know, you see him here. Imagine when he's a little scared. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
Shit. I'm only person in the only person in the world I'm scared of is my wife.
Yeah, I think that's
Terrified.
That's healthy. That's a healthy
He is
fear.
terrified of her. We went on
wanna
their
know her.
honeymoon, and you
I
should have
wanna
saw
know
the
her.
honeymoon. Oh, you should know. She's
Can I
the
get her
best.
number so I can talk
She's
to
the
her?
best.
Yeah.
She's great, but I'm scared of her.
It's a good healthy fear.
It is not so healthy for Morrow because
Like what happens?
he goes into a ball. He gets scared. And, yeah.
I mean,
I
why are
run
you so
for it.
scared?
I run for it.
What happened?
She's little, you know.
Is she really big?
I call her
Is
the
she tall?
No,
she's
She like come
5'1",
at you with
100
knives
pounds.
or something?
Tiny. I call her the unforgiven.
She's fierce.
Doesn't forgive nothing.
That's good. I don't know. I think equality in a relationship is very important.
Oh, I agree. You
So
have to
I
be
think there
partner.
should be a little fear on both sides, right?
She's not a fear.
You ever see
She's not
his
scared of shit.
calves
She's
are
not scared of you?
huge because he has to run all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice. So Don,
Thank
we're
God
gonna.
she doesn't listen to this shit.
I'm going to call her and tell her she needs to
She
listen to
should
this
listen
one.
to it.
She'd feel
We
proud.
should actually have Alex on the show. She'd probably be
We
the best
should
guest
bring her
ever,
on.
and she would like drink all of us out of
She would drink up the whole table.
So at the end of the show, we asked what's your bourbon of proof, and we went over all of Austria. We did a lot more pours for you
No,
than
I'm like,
anybody else.
I feel.
Because you understand the bourbon, the whiskey. You get it. So we wanted to give you just an experience to try
Well,
a
I
lot of stuff.
appreciate it. Yeah, it was really fun.
I'm
So-
ready for the tour of Italy at Olive Garden if you want to.
Let's
We're
go right
not
now.
doing your snuff bread.
Let's go right now. We have time.
So what was your bourbon of proof, John? Like, what is the one you liked?
your
I
favorite?
think I like the last one the
The
best.
sherry?
Tell me which one that was.
The last one was the Sherrywood American Whiskey. Yeah.
Whiskey, right? SKY.
40
Whiskey.
proof. 40 proof, so
I like that one.
80 proof, excuse me. 40% alcohol. So it's pretty, not strong, but not weak.
That's my pick.
So Duncan Shane, Beta Shane, thank you for coming on the show. And I want to know what Dawn Smith drinks in her house. What is your nightly pour? You and your husband, you get home after crushing skulls. You come home. What do you drink?
So I have a bottle of Diplomatico
Oh, rum.
in the cupboard that I pull out, but I generally
Say
drink
cupboard?
wine in the cupboard.
I'm a cupboard guy.
in the cupboard.
You have cupboards? Do you know what that is?
Cupboard?
Cupboards.
Is that a drawer?
What do you say instead? What's the
No, I
other?
call it a cupboard.
Cabinet.
Pantry?
Cabinet.
No cabinet.
Pantry's where you
Well,
put like
I can't believe
all
you call it a
the-
cupboard.
Cupboard. Yeah.
Can be.
So I have that, but
Alright.
I think wine is my favorite.